Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Sarah. Welcome back to Past and Paradox.
Today, we're diving into Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370.
Yeah, John, just saying it makes me tense. This isn't one of those loud, dramatic stories. It's quiet. It creeps up on you, and then suddenly, it's gone.
Totally. Imagine a plane with 239 people on board disappearing without a trace. No radio contact, no signals.
And the plane wasn't outdated. This was 2014. Modern technology, satellite tracking, everything, and still vanished.
So March 8th, 2014, Kuala Lumpur International Airport, MH370 is scheduled to fly to Beijing. Standard overnight flight, nothing unusual. Crew experienced, passengers boarding, luggage loaded, all normal.
And the plane itself, a Boeing 777, huge, long range, considered one of the safest planes ever.
First 38 minutes of flight, completely normal. Takeoff, climb, cruising altitude, nothing anyone would notice.
Then, as it enters Vietnamese airspace, the last voice from the cockpit, "Good night, Malaysian 370, calm, professional, routine."
And then, silence.
Not just radio silence, the transponder stops transmitting. Air traffic control loses track completely.
Military radar picks up something unexpected. Instead of heading northeast toward Beijing, the plane turns west over the Malay Peninsula, heading toward the Andaman Sea.
And nobody knew why. No distress call, no signal, just a turn and the plane keeps flying.
That's what's so unsettling. No chaos, no alarms, just a calm, unexplained deviation.
Then the satellites pick up tiny signals, handshakes with the satellite over the Indian Ocean. Limited data, but it confirms the plane kept flying.
Hundreds of people on board, silently moving over thousands of miles of ocean, and no one knows where.
And the families, the crew, everyone waiting, hoping for answers that weren't coming.
Geography makes it worse. Deep ocean, strong currents, uncharted areas. Searching there is almost impossible.
And the timeline, takeoff, climb, last transmission, turn west, it sets up everything. The massive search, the theories, the enduring mystery.
Even the calm voice from the cockpit is haunting, ordinary, polite, professional, and then the plane vanishes.
And that's where the story continues, with an international search spanning oceans, countries, and years, trying to uncover answers.
And that's where it gets wild. Once MH370 disappeared from radar, the search became enormous.
Planes, ships, satellites, countries from all over trying to find a plane that vanished into thin air.
And I say enormous, it was a 220,000 square mile search area, millions of square kilometers of ocean. That's the scale we're talking about.
Initially, they focused on the South China Sea. That's where everyone assumed it went down. But military radar data revealed that turn west, and suddenly the entire search area shifted.
And not just slightly shifted, it exploded in size. Now they were looking at the Andaman Sea, the Strait of Malacca, and eventually the southern Indian Ocean.
And when we say southern Indian Ocean, people need to picture this properly. That area is massive, cold, deep, isolated. Some parts of it rarely traveled at all.
We're talking about ocean depths reaching over 15,000 feet in places, underwater mountain ranges, terrain that hadn't even been fully mapped before the search began.
That part always blows my mind. The search for MH370 ended up mapping huge portions of the ocean floor that humanity had never properly surveyed.
And the coordination was global. Malaysia, Australia, China, the United States, dozens of countries contributed ships, aircraft, satellite resources, and technical experts.
It became one of the largest and most expensive aviation searches in history, and still nothing concrete at first.
Aircraft flew grid patterns for hours, scanning the surface. Ships dragged sonar equipment along the seafloor. Satellites analyzed imagery pixel by pixel looking for debris.
And the early days were filled with reports that would spark hope and then disappear. Possible debris sighted, unidentified objects floating, and then it would turn out to be fishing equipment or ocean trash.
That must have been emotionally exhausting for the families. Every update sounding promising, then fading.
And investigators weren't just searching randomly. They were using those satellite handshakes, the pings between the aircraft and an IMSAR satellite to calculate arcs of possible flight paths.
Which is fascinating technically. The timing of each ping created a distance ring from the satellite. When you stack those rings over time, you get a curved path stretching across the Indian Ocean.
But those arcs were huge. They didn't pinpoint a crash site. They narrowed it to a corridor thousands of kilometers long.
So search crews focused on the southern corridor because fuel calculations suggested the plane would have run out of fuel somewhere along that path.
And that's when Australia took a leading role in coordinating the underwater search in the southern Indian Ocean.
They deployed specialized vessels equipped with side-scan sonar. These machines send sound waves to the ocean floor and create detailed images of what's down there.
And imagine operating that in rough seas, cold winds, huge swells, day after day scanning, moving slowly, carefully.
It wasn't quick. It took months just to systematically cover sections of the search zone.
Then, more than a year later, something changed.
July 2015.
A piece of aircraft debris, a flaperon, washed up on Reunion Island off the east coast of Africa.
And that was the first confirmed physical evidence linked to MH370.
It must have been surreal. After all that searching in deep ocean waters, the first solid clue appears thousands of miles away on a beach.
Ocean current modeling later showed it was entirely possible. Debris from a crash in the southern Indian Ocean could drift westward towards Africa over time.
And more pieces were eventually found, fragments of wing panels, interior components, all consistent with the Boeing 777.
Each piece helped refine drift models. Oceanographers analyzed currents, wind patterns, seasonal changes, trying to reverse engineer where the debris began its journey.
But even with that, the main wreckage wasn't located.
And that's the frustrating part, because finding the main fuselage, especially the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, could answer so many questions.
Without the black boxes, investigators are left working backwards from satellite pings and small debris fragments.
The underwater search officially covered more than 120,000 square kilometers of ocean floor.
That's larger than many countries.
And after years of scanning, mapping, and analyzing, the primary search was suspended in 2017.
I remember when that announcement came out. It felt heavy, like the world had done everything it could and still didn't have answers.
A private company later attempted another search in 2018 using more advanced technology, operating on a no-find, no-fee agreement.
Which is incredible in itself, that even private exploration firms were willing to invest in solving the mystery.
But again, no confirmed wreckage site.
And that's where the search story becomes almost philosophical, because it shows both the power and the limits of modern technology.
We can track satellites in orbit, we can map Mars, but locating a single aircraft in the deep ocean, that can still defeat us.
And the ocean is constantly moving. Currents scatter debris, storms shift materials. The sea floor is uneven with trenches and ridges that can hide wreckage.
It's not like searching on land. There are no roads, no buildings, no stable terrain.
Just depth, darkness, and pressure.
And yet, despite everything, those small pieces of debris confirmed something important. The plane ended in the Indian Ocean.
Which means the satellite data was likely accurate. The plane flew south for hours after losing radar contact.
And that realization is both clarifying and haunting.
Because now we know roughly where it went.
But we still don't know why.
And that's where the search transitions into the bigger conversation, not just where the plane ended up, but what caused it to go there in the first place.
The search gave us geography.
But not motive.
Not explanation.
Just silence across a vast stretch of ocean.